Hello and welcome back to Rephotography. If I'm looking hot and sweaty, it's because here in France it's hot. Over 30 degrees. That's under 100 in the US, so you're probably thinking that's not so hot, but over here it's hot enough. Anyway, back to Rephotography. So we've looked at how to select the old photographs. We've looked at how to prepare both the old and the new photographs. And I think the step that probably intrigues most people is how do you merge those? So that's what I'm planning to go through today. So let's get into Lightroom. Let's start. Okay, so we're in Lightroom, and I was recently in Grenoble in France. Amazing city, some wonderful architecture and plenty of opportunities to do some rephotography. And you can see the way I've configured my folder here. I have the various sections of Grenoble that I visited in a subfolder. So each one contains the old image and also the raw images that I shot there. I could really choose any of the images I've complete. The process is virtually the same, but I'm going to select image from this location, Victor Hugo. Now, one of the previous videos I mentioned, one of the options that I highly recommend is when you're using a postcard. Clearly that's a fairly small dimension, so I always look to increase the size using upscale, free program. And so I've got these two images that I've upscaled, and I'm going to work on this image here. You can see that the size of it, 3200 by just over 2000 pixels. So this is a good option to work with. And again, I showed how I use this function, the second window, which you rarely see people using within Lightroom. And set to normal, lock it such that when you move away from here, you still retain that old postcard. So I'm going to jump back into the grid view, go into raw, and then I'm going to select my the raw image that I'm going to work with. I've already selected that and I've already prepared that. I again showed you in a previous video. So I'm going to use this image here. One of the things I think I will do, I'm going to see if I can straighten this some more. So let's go into the guided option and select the corners of this building. I've missed. I can use the edges of the window and the drain pipe. Okay, we're good there. So now I'm going to transfer this into Photoshop. Right click, edit in Photoshop. Okay, there it is. Now I'm going to retrieve the old postcard. So it's in the library, and again I've done the processing on the old image, and I showed in a previous video. So it's DNG, this is the one, edit in Photoshop. There we are. Now the way I transfer images is just very simple. Control A, Control C, move over to my new image, Control V. I always put the old on top of the new. Now we need to align these images, and there's various ways I accomplish this. We could reduce the opacity of the old image down to about 50%. but with the amount of detail that's happening here, I don't think this is going to be a good approach. So in this instance, what I'm going to do, put the opacity back to 100%, and in this instance what I'm going to use the guides. So dragging from the left onto one corner of the building there, a second guide onto the other corner, and then dragging from the top, I'm going to put one at ground level here. And I'm also going to look at the building in the distance, and the ground level is round about there. Okay. So now then, when I bring this back, we're going to distort, or we're going to increase the size of this. So we're going to take the image down to ground level. You see we need to increase the size of the image here. Okay, it's round about there. We can see the railings on the side of the building. Looks to be quite nicely aligned. Ground level, looks like we have ground level, but maybe take it slightly further down. Maybe increase slightly more. But one of the things you can see here is the ground level in the distance is off. And that's probably because you can see in the old photograph here, the photographer was in elevated position. And so it's a different perspective. Now, I wasn't walking around Grenoble with a set of step ladders. So I'm just going to have to work with this and maybe do some image manipulation to counter the discrepancy, but we're going to work with that for the time being. So I'm good there. So what I'm going to do, I don't need these rulers. So view, guides, up. So I need to approve that. Now viewer, guides, clear guides. We're done there. Next thing I want to do is to crop the image, because there's just too much distraction from the new photograph. And so I'm going to crop this right in. Invariably, you're going to be limited by the old photograph. So take it fairly close in there. I'm going to keep the top, because in my merged images, the top is always from the present, and the base of the image is from the past. So I'm going to approve that. Okay, so now we can start to work on merging these two using the masking process. So with the old image selected, press the mask button, layer masks, and B for brush, and you want 0 hardness. It just looks so much better when there's a fade between the old and the new. So we're good there. The size, using your brackets, you increase that. Black is going to reveal. So we're going to start to reveal the image from today. And this is where we can hide so many flaws, defects. And in fact, one of the tricks that I employ is that you saw how the image in the distance was off. Well, in the merged images, people are really looking in the foreground, and so that discrepancy in the rear is not really such an issue here. And so I'm going to continue to just work away, revealing the image today. Reduce the size of the brush. Now, this is where comes to the selection process of what you want to keep from the past and from the present. I actually like the road, looking at the road, looking at the vehicle there. So I'm going to include that there. We've made good progress with that already. The trees over to the right. Let's have a look at the new photograph. I'm going to say that those are not the same trees we see here, the old trees compared to the new trees, but it blends well. I'm going to crop this again and really take it to the edge of the old photograph. Enter. And I would almost be tempted to say that we're good there. I can see here, B for brush, I can see here there's a difference in the railings there. So select the mask again and black. I'm going to have the railings from today. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. One of the things that you can do, it's not so bad with this particular image, but if you double click on the mask box, it's going to bring up the properties, and you can increase the feather, increase it significantly. And this again helps to have that smooth transition between the old and the new. Maybe take it back. I can see in the back here, I don't particularly like what it's doing there. Maybe leave it there. So you could continue to work on this, fine-tuning the image, but we're just about good there. Let's close the properties box. What I would do personally here, what I do with all of my image, B for brush, and I have a signature that I put in the corner. And I would be ready to share this. If I was going to put this in an exhibition, then I probably would work on this some more. One of the things that I do tend to look at, and I see there's a discrepancy here. Look at the windows. These windows should be perfectly aligned. Suggests to me that maybe it's slightly off. Maybe I should increase it marginally. There, let's try that. That looks better. So yeah, I think I would leave it there. So that's your first approach for merging images. There's other fine points that I'll probably cover in another video, but for a first pass attempt, yeah, that's not too bad. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this. If you find a benefit, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll be with you in a future video. Bye for now.